Book of Thomas, saying number 3. Jesus said, if those who lead you say to you, see, the kingdom is in the sky, then the birds of the sky will precede you. This is why people are full of, they're walking away from religion in droves. And religion's dying a death, and rightly so. And it's only the disaffected that have got nothing else to identify with that are clinging to it and exhibiting a severe case of Stockholm syndrome. If you watch the religious, they're all praying. They pray and they raise their arms and look to the sky. And Jesus in heaven, and they all look up and they pray and they all look up, whilst on their knees, in a lowly and little position, bowed down. When you even think about that, we're the only species on the planet that walks, that is designed to walk upright. We're the only one. Yeah, but chimpanzee, no, they're not designed to walk upright permanently. We are the only species that does that. So God makes you to walk upright, this creator, okay? So I've made these really special mammals. They've got a neocortex, and they've got logic and reason. They've got a conscience, and they've got their own master, which is the ego, which should be their servant, but they've got it all wrong because the truth has been perverted by religious wankers and monarchs and all the rest of it. But I've made them to walk upright, and they all bow down. No. Or you could look at it the other way. The devil has made everybody, and he's made you to walk upright. But then he wants you to bow down on your knees and worship him. The whole thing's just ridiculous. Actually, bowing down is the ego. It's lowly and little consciousness. That's what Paulos means. Right. If they say to you, it is in the sea, then the fish will precede you. If you look at the Pope, he wears a fish hat called a mitre, which is I forget his name, a Dogon god or something like that. It's a fish god. And it goes back to a long time ago, the Babylonians. And the Pope walks around wearing it on his head. It's called the mitre, or the mitre, M-I-T-R-E. And it's symbolic of a fish head. He's fucking walking around with this fucking ridiculous costume, playing religious dress up. And that's exhibited throughout humanity. Soldiers, combat uniform, dress up. Police, dress up. Judges, all dressed up. It's an act. Go to the closet and put on their costume. It's farcical. Rather, the kingdom is inside of you. That's pretty clear. And it is outside of you. As above, so below. As within, so without. When you come to know yourselves, turn that energy inwards. When you do that, you are in the world, but you're not of it. Then you will become known. I keep saying this and people get perplexed about it. And you will realize that it is you who are the sons of the living Father. Now the girls might be disheartened about this. And I've said this time and time again. I'll keep saying it just to reinforce the point. The Son is the ego intellect. That is enlightened. Because this text is for those that have been initiated. It's not for the profane. So if you're stuffing your face with meat and pouring alcoholic piss down your neck, You might have the knowledge of this, you might understand everything I've said, but you will never have the experience. That door is firmly shut on you. It's as simple as that. So you will realize that it is you who are the sons of the living Father. Now, I've had that experience going on now for about a year and a half, 18 months or so. I want to go back. When you come to know yourselves, then you will become known. And I've said this before, and I've had an email, and they're asking about how do you become known. Everybody has an individual life story. Everyone has their own history. History is what is the story the ego tells itself. His story. The man. Everyone's looking at the government. Oh, the man, the man. The government is shit. But it's this man that needs you need to pay attention to him. You need to question him. Anyway. Where was I? Because everyone has an individual story, they will respond to things that are applicable to them and only them. So you might have synchronicities, but they happen so often that they can't be put down as coincidence. For me, for example, I keep seeing 33 continuously, plagued by it. And people around me have witnessed that. Other things happen as well. I might say something and then it just happens. And I'm kind of looking at it kind of perplexed, thinking, how the fuck did that happen? Or I'll have a thought and it manifests. They call it the law of attraction and all that nonsense. I don't really know much about it. Perhaps I should look into it a bit more. But I don't like those avenues. They're too new age. And the truck's an example. You know, CK311 on the batteries as well. 311. It's just endless. So I'm kind of like, am I having an effect on that? How's that happening? Which goes to saying two, he will rule over the all. I don't have enough experience to make a wise comment about it yet. Okay. How do I explain this? If you wanted to win the lottery and then you won it, you're just falling back into the spider's web, aren't you? But if you was to do it with good intention, so you've asked and it was given and you've got your lottery win, and then you went out and gave it to the poor, because you're not fooled by it, because your attitude would be, oh, thanks, Dad. So you've got it, you give it away, rather than dashing out and buying a house or a boat or whatever. Do you see what I'm saying? It's about intention, and it's about others more than it is yourself. That's why I make these videos. Sometimes I think to myself, man, if I just shut my cake hole, I could enjoy this and I could keep it to myself. And then people wouldn't say stupid things like, you're a Bible basher, and all that other fucking ignorant nonsense. And I could spare myself a lot of grief. But then again, I couldn't give a fuck what people think. Really couldn't. Although people that are on the path, when they start talking shit, it really does grip my shit. Because they should shut up until they've had the experience, basically. Because if you haven't had the experience, then you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. That's the difference between somebody who's initiated, I don't even like that word, but there isn't another word. So somebody who's initiated, enlightened, and somebody who is on the narrow path to being initiated. But if you will not know yourselves, you dwell in poverty, and it is you who are that poverty. And that's quite a hard line, that is. Now, these were written thousands of years ago. So in the passage of time, our understanding of poverty has changed. Now, is Jesus talking about money? No, he's not. He's not talking about money. Money has nothing to do with spiritual poverty or not. This is not about the trappings of money. Money is not evil. It is the love of money that's evil. And if you want evidence of that, all the money is flowing in one direction, and it's all going to the top of the pyramid, and the people at the bottom are getting fuck all. That is an example of the love of money. So the entire system is rigged. And if you don't know that, you're a moron. So he's not talking about that. He's talking about, if you don't know who you are, then you're missing the greatest gift in the universe. If you haven't had the realization of who you are, then you are in poverty. Because you don't know yourself, your higher self, the I am. When I say human beings have the potential to be Jesus Christ and more, but they're all pretending to be the Apostle Paul, people look at you like you're a fruitcake. And the reason for that is that religion has perverted it so much that the idol, Jesus, only he is the perfect man. But they don't understand the allegory and the symbolism. So this image that's been planted in their field is an absolute nonsense. Anything the religious people tout is just a fucking nonsense. Have nothing to do with them. So if you don't know your higher self, in that way you don't know who you are. That's why Jesus said, you will do greater things than I. Because you're the one that's manifesting this reality. Your higher consciousness is facilitating that. Because if you didn't have it, you wouldn't be here. So anything you do is greater than him. But he is the all. Because everything's consciousness. It's all energy. I'm in a school. I'm acutely aware that I'm here to learn. It doesn't stop. So when you think, oh, I know all this and I've had the experience, the Kundalini, that's me now, I'm done. Oh, no. No, it doesn't stop. And it's not a bad thing, it's a good thing. Because the astonishment and the marveling just continues. Right. That was saying number 3. So when we're talking about poverty, we're not talking about money. There are examples in third world countries, of which I've been to many, where the people are far happier in themselves than they are in the West, where they have everything they think they need. Another example of this as well was when Jesus said a rich man, it would be easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than it would be for the rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. Now, a rich man is somebody who thinks they have everything. So you might have a big house, a car, a boat, and all that, all the trappings of modern life, and it's all worthless shit anyway. When you compare it to the spiritual side of things and higher consciousness. But if we look at that as well from a spiritual perspective, it's somebody who's a religious leader who says, oh, I know God, I read the Bible every day, and I know in my heart I'm a good person. You know what I'm talking about. That's an example of a rich man. Hasn't got a fucking hope in hell. Why would he seek if he thinks he has everything? So he doesn't. So his ego, his Apostle Paul, deceives him. Whereas somebody who knows something's missing, they know something's wrong, they know that the world's wrong. When I say it, I mean man's affairs, the affairs of mankind, the collective consciousness of humankind, or man unkind as it is. So they start to read, or they start to listen, and they start to understand simple knowledge, and then they start to respond. And it's natural. It is a natural physiological and psychological happenstance. It happens for you. All you've got to do is be less. In other words, meditate. That's why Jesus said, get behind me, Satan. Satan is the adversary, adversarial to higher consciousness, the ego. So the ego shuffles off behind you. You're in meditation. You move into the higher realms of your own consciousness. You become the I am, the awareness, this singular awareness. And you look into the void, and the void looks back. And then you come back again, and your ego becomes enlightened. And you have overcome the illusion of separation, and you know yourself. Now you could read that in many ways. You could say, know yourself. Like, I know myself. Or as in, own the knowledge for yourself. And then turn that knowledge, transmute it into an inner experience. And then what's in goes out. That's the important bit. It's what's in goes out. I can't really add anything else to that. Take care.